Are you always signing the same Wonderkids in every FM24 save that you have? Maybe you've missed out on your number one target and you need an alternative Wonderkid. Could it be that some of the hidden Wonderkids can be developed into world beaters? In today's video, thanks to the cheap Wonderkid list over at Passion4FM, I'm going to profile 10 Wonderkids that you may not have heard of, but definitely deserve your attention. If you are in the market for a versatile attacking midfielder, Matias Abaldo could be the player for you. This 19-year-old Uruguayan can play in a number of attacking roles, including playing as a makeshift striker. He is blessed with good pace, acceleration, flair and finishing. He is valued by Gimnasa at £475,000 to £1.4 million. 10 years into the future sees Matias Abaldo move to Rangers. He would play in 197 games for Rangers and score 41 goals. As of 2033, Rangers put him at a valuation of £10 to £30 million. Up next we have a solid 19-year-old Turkish wonderkid, Abdurrahman Uresin. He plays on the right side of the pitch in a number of roles, moving progressively forward up the field. His main attributes are good pace, acceleration, determination and work rate. This should aid his development. He starts the game at Kepez SF and is valued at £95 to £275,000. In 10 years' time, we find Uresin at Sunderland in the Championship. His career path would take him to Benfica, Standard Liège and Sunderland. In 2033, his valuation is now between £16.5 to £50 million. Iseppe is a Brazilian wonderkid who starts the game at Atletico Miniero as part of their under-20 setup. His main position is an attacking midfielder through the centre of the pitch. Early on in the game, he looks like he will need to develop a lot to fulfil his potential. He is valued by Atletico Miniero at £600,000 to £1.8 million. In 2033, we find Iseppe playing in the Premier League at Bournemouth. Now at the age of 27, he's made 117 first-team appearances and scored 23 goals. Bournemouth value the player at £14 to £42 million. Moving on now to one of the youngest players on this list. This is Nilsen-Modebe, who at just 15 years old is already making a name for himself in his native Norway. He plays as a striker who possesses good pace, acceleration and finishing. At just 15 years old, it'll be difficult to sign him straight away for certain clubs. At the start of the game, he plays for Kisa 2 and has a value of £2,000 to £8,000. 10 years down the line, and we find that the player has now moved to the Bundesliga to play for Wolfsburg. At the age of 25, he has now played in 285 games, scoring 118 goals and carries a price tag of between £27 to £82 million. Next up, we have Portuguese centre-back Joao Fonseca. If you need a player who has the scope to develop into a world-class centre-back, Fonseca could be what you're looking for. He is tall, strong and determined, a player who has a big future if he develops well. At 16, he's valued by Benfica at £1 to £3.1 million. In 2033, Fonseca has made his way to Stuttgart after moving to Germany from Betis in Spain. He has played in 190 games and is now valued by Stuttgart at £17 to £51 million. The next player on the list to have a look at is 19-year-old Norwegian Oskar Sivertsen. Sivertsen is a player who is comfortable in wide areas whilst also being competent through the middle. At the start of the game, Oskar Sivertsen plays for Kristansund and he's valued at £65 to £190,000. Jumping forward to 2033 shows just how much potential he has. Now he has swapped Kristansund for Juventus, and to get to Juventus he would have to travel through Spurs and Aston Villa. He is now valued between £30 and £90 million. Jovan Zivkovic is an Austrian youth international who starts the game at Rapid Vienna. He is a quick and nimble striker who at the age of 17 already shows good pace, acceleration, determination and finishing. At the beginning of new save games, he is valued in the region of £1.7 to £5 million. It's now 2033 and we find Zivkovic at Celta Vigo. Having scored 51 in 111 for Rapid, he is now finding the net often in Spain, scoring 27 from 78 games. He has shown massive development and is now worth £20 to £59 million. Next up, we are taking a look at a Brazilian wonderkid. This is Esquerdinha. If you're looking for a long-term project player, he could fit the bill. At just 17 years old, he has everything he needs to develop into a star. A player who mainly plays on the left-hand side as a left-back, but I'm sure he could advance further up the pitch too. At the start of the game, he is at Fluminense, and he is valued at £800,000 to £2.4 million. 10 years into the future, we find him at Valencia. Now at the age of 27, he has become a Brazilian international with a career path that took him to the Middle East before joining Leverkusen and then on to Valencia. In 2033, he would now be valued at between £32 and £96 million. David Martinez is a 17-year-old Venezuelan who looks ready to slot into most teams in world football. He is a tricky attacking midfielder with good dribbling and flair. He starts the game at Monagas SC and has already had a full international cap to his name. He is valued at £170 to £500,000. In 2033, we now find David Martinez in the Championship where he plays for Brentford. His career path shows he has also played for West Brom before he had a move to Arsenal. He has made 155 appearances for Brentford, scoring 20 goals, and is now valued at £35 to £104 million. The final player on this list is a bit more well known following his move from AIK to Bayern Munich in real life. Jonah Kusiasari is a tall, rangy striker who has good jumping reach and heading. Despite being tall, he also has good pace and finishing. Having just moved to Bayern, he won't be available immediately in your new save game, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on. 10 years into the future sees Kusiasari move to Freiburg. After not being able to make an impact at Bayern, he was loaned out to Porto, where he would score 14 in 26, and then he would move to Freiburg on loan, where he has scored 13 in 30. Despite his lack of playing time at Bayern, he has still developed really well, and is now worth between £23 to £69 million. So those are the profiles of the 10 wonderkids that you might not already have heard of, but are definitely worth picking up and developing in game to become assets for your team. Don't forget, if you want to see these players and a whole lot more, download the shortlist from Passion 4 FM using the link in the description down below.